Julia here, multi-passionate entrepreneur. And if you're tuning into my YouTube channel for the first time, I decided I would start to do some vlogs that weren't really scripted, but really give you a sense into what my days, my weeks, my months look like. So today is August 23rd, and wow, so much has happened this year if you're just tuning in for the first time. I came back to Atlanta in May after being gone for about a year and a half, traveling the world full time. I have a lifestyle brand, Fit Life Creation, where I help people create and scale what they love. I am not currently married yet. I don't have kids yet. And I love wellness, I love marketing, I love business, I love travel. I've traveled to 35 plus countries. I speak 4 languages, and I have worked in 7 plus industries. So safe to say, I love to learn. And wanted to give you some insight into today. Also some from last week, a little bit, and then into what's coming up, so you get a sense, okay? So today, I didn't sleep well yesterday. Since I've been back stateside, I've definitely been healing a lot of things, because I think sometimes, like, I love travel, but sometimes travel can also be a distraction from really having you face things that will come up when you are stable, like whatever that, like, it can be a distraction of travel, it can be a distraction of being around people all the time. Like, there's a number of distractions, and I've definitely participated in all of them. And thank you that so much of them have transformed. So I already had that feeling last December that there were things that were coming up for me internally, and definitely with me being back in Atlanta, like facing more things from an aspect of stability, of being ready to fully receive success. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. For years in corporate America, I made, you know, and for other brands, 6 to 8 figures, got to 6 figures, but as an entrepreneur, so much has come up with identity, with worthiness, with depression, with anxiety, with instability, with all these different things that have really forced me on a whole spiritual journey to dive deep and heal so many things from childhood, so many things, and so many things that resulted, say, in my teens or in my adulthood, that because I didn't deal with certain things, they started to bubble up. So for example, when I came back, like, so many things started coming up from an aspect of healing, mindset things, not sleeping well, I'm not gonna say all the time, but I will say like 70% of the time. And having more things come up for worry, whether it's finances, whether it's family, whether it's the lie that, oh, this hasn't happened yet, it's not gonna happen, like all these, and unearthing and transforming so many of my thoughts. So today, I initially got up at 7, but I really felt like I was in this deep, heavy state. And I know as a woman, some of it can be hormonal. So I'm also figuring out, balancing those. I just got some chasteberry extract too. So speaking of biohacks real quick, you guys, and wellness practices have helped me so much. So if you are struggling with depression, anxiety, fear, all the things. So for example, this morning, I woke up and I was praying, I was speaking affirmations over myself, and then I started listening to Cindy Trim, okay? After a couple hours, I had my Herbalife beverage mix, which you can see some of my other videos on YouTube on that, and then I went to go do fasted cardio. And I ended up resting from working out this week, still ate great. If you didn't know, I lost over 55 pounds over 7 years ago. I'm alcohol free over 7 years. If you would have told me any of that years ago, I would have said you're crazy. And I did fasted. I came back downstairs, had my Herbalife Rebuild Strength, and I'm pointing right here because my camera is literally sitting on it because my tripod broke at a Life Surge event this past weekend, first world problems. So came downstairs and I reviewed what I call my ScoreCard. So I have a ScoreCard that I keep track of what's happening with my goals and targets with the business, like financial goals, what's happening with social media, what's happening with leads. I also keep pink, blue, and green stickies in front of me, like where my desk is. So I also keep that. And so I reviewed the scorecard, and then I really honed in on what are my 2 to 3 major moves today. Because I don't know about you friends, but I'm one of those where I used to put like 50 items on my to-do list for the day and then cross off maybe 10, which is great, but then judge myself for not completing all 50 when I was setting myself up for failure from the jump, okay? So now for about a year to 2 years to 3 years, since the pandemic, since 2020, I'm really getting a lot better at putting like 3 big major moves every day. And then when I have time, I'm like, wow, I have all this time, right? So today I found, if you don't follow Mr. Beast on YouTube, you guys go follow him. I just found out about him. He has given like over $10,000 in one video to the homeless, which if you followed me in the past, you know that's something I'm passionate about. I just supported this past weekend Trinity Combine, which is a charity and athletic event that gives back to helping homelessness in Atlanta. And so he, in one instance, gave like $10,000 to a homeless man. In another instance, because his viewers mentioned, hey, split it out, he gave like $1,000 to 10 random people, not random. Then he has done like the same thing with Uber drivers. And I'm like, oh my God, this is coming to life, showing me what's possible and then how to inspire others to do it, like, and how he's already doing it. So I bring him up to say, 2 reasons I found him. 1, I'm focusing on growing my YouTube channel this year. And 2, I got recommended an amazing tool, TubeBuddy, through Vanessa Lau and some of the education I've listened from her. And on TubeBuddy, they spotlighted him. And then once I started scrolling through his videos, I was like, wow. And then I happened to find a video on his channel where he's sourcing and looking for people with scaling his team. So I sent in a submission, sent in my resume with all the gifts, talents, and abilities on how I can help with strategy, finance, marketing, building a team, all the things, and we'll see. So I submitted that today. That was one of my major moves. So 1 was reviewing the scorecard, reviewing what's happening, setting up the week powerfully, which I kind of already did on Saturday, but I honed in on it. So I was like, okay, a major move is submitting Mr. Beast application. His name is Jimmy, actually. And he does incredible adventurous stuff too. Like he just gave away an island, you guys, like amazing stuff. And then like talk about living a limitless life. And then the second thing was, I have an influencer. I'm also glancing at the clock because I have an influencer management call today with an influencer to manage her business basically and help her get to the next level. And then I was thinking of long-term, right? And also learning from different people and ongoing revenue and ongoing things aligned to passion and purpose. And then I was thinking, okay, what's short-term that'll help me with the community, help me in Atlanta? So I submitted to Lifetime Fitness. They are opening up a brand new location, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes walking from my condo for cycle. So I was like, oh, I love Lifetime. I could learn a ton there too. And I could be a cycle instructor and be when I'm in Atlanta, be in a community out of the house several times a week. So sent for that. Then set an intention and reminder for some volunteer things with Home Depot Backyard that hosts fitness classes and hosting a bikini boot camp and the Beltline. So those are some things too that it's on the radar, but that wasn't part of my top 3 priorities. It was, okay, let's submit Mr. Beast, let's have the influencer call, and let's do the cycle submission. And then beyond that, let's go to, so I'm about to have the call in a couple minutes. And then in between that, I also worked out upstairs a second time and did legs today. So you guys, it's so key to make time. In between that, not only did I listen to Cindy Trim and her opportunity series, I also listened to breathing exercise meditations with Peloton with Chelsea, and Chelsea Loves Yoga, Chelsea Jackson Roberts. I think it's Chelsea Loves Yoga, but it's Chelsea Jackson Roberts is her name. Because in some things, when I start feeling like yuck, and I'm praying and I'm shifting and I'm doing the things, but I'm still not feeling like me and 100%, I've come to learn, you guys, like breathing is everything. I realized like years ago, I wasn't breathing deeply or fully or being present. And the more and more and more I have focused on breath and being calm and the spirit within me being calm and linking up with what God's word says about me and us. And you may or may not believe in God, and that's okay. But I think it's all, you know, that's your choice. But I think it's all fair to say that likely you believe in love, joy, peace, and freedom. So anything opposite from love, AKA fear or hate, is not serving my mind, our minds, or my body, my cells well, right? I think it's fair to say. So when I start feeling like that, like, hey, I'm already proactive with breath work and prayer and journaling. But when I start feeling like even more or a sort of avalanche, and I've come to know what some of my triggers are, I double up or I triple up. Like today, even when I was working out on legs, I was listening to Chelsea on breathing exercises, okay? So then I got ready. I said, oh, I have some time before my call. Let me do my vlog for this week on the camera real quick and talk about it. And so the rest of this week, tomorrow I'm working on my launches with influencer management, with content, and scaling even more with my virtual assistant on Efficise and on Fiverr. And I use ClickUp to track my dashboard to look at progress. I'll be sharing that probably in a vlog or a video with some tools coming up soon. Definitely check out ClickUp if you don't use them already. I love dashboards, you guys. And so the launch, last week I ran some tests on Fiverr with promoting my podcasts, with promoting my YouTube and my TikTok that went really, really well, because those are some of the next things that I want to scale further. So I ran some tests last week with scaling further. And then tomorrow morning I have a ear appointment because this ear is not hearing as well as this one. And I've run through a number of different troubleshooting, antibiotics the last 6 months. It doesn't hurt, thankfully, but I went to an appointment last week. Now I have a second appointment for a test and some other things to rule out it's not nerves and different nerve damage and things like that. Hopefully not from scuba or free diving. So that. And then Thursday, one of my clients is a ministry called Berea School of Ministry that's based in Atlanta and is in Spanish-focused school of ministry. And so I am working currently also as their chief marketing officer and have a meeting on their incentives that I put together for their instructors and students. So we're working through those phases and then translations. And then I will also be submitting a draft scorecard for them and to track their results and a 30-year, 12-week campaign for their ministry because they're hitting 30 years this year. So then Friday, I will likely take it even. And keep in mind, you guys, every day is anywhere between 3 to 7 hours of work. So it may sound like a lot, but I'm very intentional about taking breaks and setting intentions for activities, etc. And then Friday, I will likely go to one of my favorite yoga slow breathe classes with Nikaya at Highland Yoga. That's amazing. Her soundtrack is bomb. I learned about Londrelle through her. And then this weekend, from the Life Surge event that I attended last Saturday with Priscilla Shire, with the Benham Brothers, with Nick Vajuva, I need to hear his last name some more. I am attending a couple of follow-up educational classes on trading, on real estate, and further on online business. And so trading is this weekend. So drop any questions, check out all the playlists. Tell me if you're liking this vlog style to kind of get a glance at what's happening in my life and any questions you have, and create, transform, and inspire. You are born to.